We staggered off into the grass to sleep beside the street. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. And later on, two young and lovely girls just happened by. One said to the other with a twinkle in her eye, "See, I'm sleeping Scotsman, so strong in hips and built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt." They crept up to the sleeping Scotsman, quiet as could be, lifted up his kilt above the waist so they could see. There behold them do beneath the Scottish skirt was nothing but what God had blessed him with upon his birth. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Nothing but what God had blessed him with upon his birth. They marveled for a moment, then one said, "We best be gone. Let's leave a present for our friend before we move along." As a gift they left a blue silk ribbon tied into a bow around the bonny star of the Scots Guild to lift and show. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Round the bonny star of the Scots Guild to lift and show. Well, a drunken Scotsman can't sleep in the gutter forever. So the next morning, the Scotsman woke to nature's call and he stumbled toward the trees, lifted up his skirts and then he gawks at what he sees. Then he says to the startled voice to what's before his eyes, "My friend, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize." Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-die. Friend, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize.
I have a debt to acknowledge to the Illinois Math and Science Academy. I've been very impressed, along with other people, about the stuff that's going on over there. And part of it is sort of independently verification of some old tunes that I liked when I was growing up. You guys are singing stuff that was written long before you were born. Yeah? And it was stuff that I thought was good, it was funny, or it was interesting. You're also discovering a lot of the stuff that some of us discovered, 10 years ago or 15 years ago when you were various sizes. I'm really impressed by the creativity and the interest in a lot of different music groups. Everything from heavy metal to Stan Rogers. I mean, I go, whoa, this is pretty amazing. And I think I'm unanimous with the people that are around that we're really pleased to have you folks coming around, not only for the audience, but for the input. And for everybody else, let's have a hand for the Illinois Math and Science Academy. Don't stop. You're doing good. It gives us hope. Well, last up this evening, we're going to have a short set by a friend of ours that's been around and is anywhere music is happening in the Chicago area. Let's have a nice welcome for Todd Kelly.
Thank you.
Soldier for 1,000 years. Well, he's fighting for democracy, he's fighting for the rest. Says it's for the peace of all. Well, he's the one who must decide who's to live and who's to die. But he cannot read the writing on the wall. what Hitler has condemned that Lithout. Without him, Caesar would have stood alone. He's the one who gives his body as a weapon of the war. And without him, all this killing can't go on. He's the universal soldier, and he really is to blame. His orders come from far away no more. Come from him and you and me. And brothers, can't you see? That's not the way we put an end to war.
Let's have a nice welcome for Larry Swenson. Oh, I can shake off the pressure.
Well, we'll stay away from most of the new stuff tonight since we're running short on time. We'll stick with the stuff I can get through. It's reasonably well.
Woke up this morning, walked out my door, I looked down the street. No one was around, the sun was just coming up over my home on Hickory Street in a little farm town. Ooh-wee, ain't the morning light pretty when the dew is still heavy, so bright and early. My home on the range, it's a one-horse town, and it's alright with me. Now the plow broke the prairie gave plenty. The little towns blossomed, till soon there were many scattered like fireflies across the dark night. One was called Early, oh, they sure named it right. Ooh, ain't the morning light pretty when the dew is still heavy, so bright and early. My home on the range, it's a one-horse town, and it's alright with me. Now many dry summers have burned up the fields and parched the fine colors and cut down the yields, but the rain has returned and it's washed away our fields. It's the fullest green summer we've seen in years. Ooh, ain't the morning light pretty when the dew is still heavy, so bright and early. My home on the range, it's a one-horse town, and it's alright with me. Ooh, ain't the morning light pretty when the dew is still heavy, so bright and early. My home on the range, it's a one-horse town, and it's alright with me. Here's a little song about four wet pigs. Here's a little song about four wet pigs. Two of them little and two of them big, danced all night at the pig town jig. Now the two that were little were just half grown. The two that were big as a barn, and tall as a tree. Take 'em on down to the factory. Well, slice 'em into bacon, cut 'em into ham, chop 'em into hot dogs, squeeze 'em into Spam. Throw the little pig eyes out in the rain, pickle their feet and scramble their brains. Well, here's a little song about two wet pigs leaning on the slop trough, smoking their cigs, hoping to God that they never get big. They danced all night at the big town jig.
Okay, we had a request to do this one. Well, the first one was by Greg Brown, and the second one was by Greg Brown. He writes from the sublime to the ridiculous. The first song was about a little town in Iowa that's currently being currently, I think it was foreclosed upon. I don't know that it exists anymore. This is a song Steve Goodman made popular. It's written by Mike Smith. Senior citizens love song called The Dutchman. Dutchman's not the kind of man who keeps his thumb jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in. But that's a secret only Margaret knows. Amsterdam is golden. In the summer, Margaret brings him breakfast. She believes him. He thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be, but Margaret only sees that sometimes. Sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man. My dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman still wears wooden shoes. His cap and coat, they're patched with the love that Margaret sewed in. Sometimes he thinks he's still in Rotterdam, and he watches tugboats down canals and calls out to them when he thinks he knows the captains. Till Margaret comes to take him home again, down unforgiving streets at Trippin, though she holds his hand. Sometimes he thinks he's alone and he calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man. My dear Margaret remembers that for me. Now when winter whirls the windmills round, she winds his muffler tighter, and they sit in the kitchen. Some tea with whiskey keeps away the dew, and he sees her for a second, calls her name out as Margaret makes the bed up singing some old love song that she had learned when it was still quite new. He hums a line or two. They sing together in the dark. Now the Dutchman falls asleep. Margaret blows the candles out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. to be a young man. My dear Margaret remembers that for me. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man. My dear Margaret, she remembers that for me. Well, I went to his room in the middle of the night, crept to his side, and I turned on the light. And to my surprise, he was nowhere in sight, 'cause my Uncle Walter goes waltzing at night. He goes wow, 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 waltzing with bears, raggy bears, baggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wow, 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 waltzing. He can go waltzing with bears. Well, we bought Uncle Walter a new coat to wear, but when he came home it was covered with hair. And lately I've noticed there's several new tears. I'm sure Uncle Walter's been waltzing with bears. He goes wow, 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 waltzing with bears, raggy bears, baggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wow, 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 waltzing. He can go waltzing with bears. We told Uncle Walter that he should be good and do all the things that we said he should, but I know that he'd rather be off in the woods. I'm afraid that we'll lose Uncle Walter for good. He goes wow, 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 waltzing with bears, raggy bears, baggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wow, 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 waltzing. He can go waltzing with bears. Oh, we begged and we pleaded, oh, please won't you stay? And we managed to keep him at home for a day, but the bears all barged in and they took him away. Now he's waltzing with pandas, and he won't understand us. And those bears all demand at least one dance a day. He goes wow, 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 waltzing with bears, raggy bears, baggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wow, 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 waltzing. He can go waltzing with bears. He goes wow, 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 waltzing with bears, raggy bears, baggy bears, shaggy bears too. There's nothing on earth Uncle Walter won't do, so he can go waltzing, wow, 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 waltzing. He can go waltzing with bears.
Let's do one more and get off of here so Jewel can keep things moving. Written by Henry Lawson, music by Garnet Rogers. It's called Outside Track.
Board lights glowed in the morning mist and flowed in the water stream. O'er the railing we grasped his fist as the dark tides came between. We cheered the captain, we cheered the crew, and our baits times out of mind. We cheered the land he was going to, and the land he had left behind. Oh, they'll marry and go as the world rolls back. They'll marry, they'll vanish, they'll die, but their spirit shall live on the outside track as long as the years go by. Now we roared lang syne, it's a last farewell, but my heart, it seemed so empty. I well remember the hush that fell as he steamed on past the point. We drifted home through the public bars. We were 10 times less by one as he sailed out under the morning star and under the rising sun. Oh, they'll marry and go as the world rolls back. They'll marry, they'll vanish, they'll die, but their spirit shall live on the outside track as long as the years go by. Now one by one and two by two sailed for the north since then. I said goodbye to the last I knew, to the last of the careless men. I can't but think that the times we had were the best times after all, as I turn aside with a lonely glass and I drink to the barroom wall. Oh, they'll marry and go as the world rolls back. They'll marry, they'll vanish, they'll die, but their spirit shall live on the outside track as long as the years go by. Oh, they'll marry and go as the world rolls back. They'll marry, they'll vanish, they'll die, but their spirit shall live on the outside track as long as the years go by. Thank you very much.
Just got here and I wasn't thinking much about what I was going to do once I was here. So just bear with me a second while I meditate. Uh-oh, there's a camera. Here, let me do this for you. And he said, is there any problem? Yeah, there's a problem. The microphone's in my face. A little while later, Lawrence Welk and his orchestra will be here, but right now. Candy bar the other day. Only ate half, gonna throw the rest away when I saw this kid playing in the street. I said, hey kid, you want something to eat? He goes, what? I said, candy, son. He goes, help! And he starts to run and I'm standing. Half bar of chocolate. Like I said, half a bar of chocolate running on my fingers. Well, a kid comes back in a minute or two, and his mom was with him and the neighbors too, and they had the kid scared, it's plain to see. They said, which one done it? He points at me, he says, him. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you! And then he starts to scream, and I'm just standing. Everybody's looking. Everybody's staring at me. I said, hi, duty. Y'all waiting for a bus? Yeah. Getting kind of late, ain't it? Maybe we can find somebody with a watch and stare at him. Well, some of them had baseball bats and some were pulling the pins from their hats. I think this thing has gone a little too far. Hell, only offered him a candy bar. I said, wait! I said, what are you doing? They said, Prevert, kid's life is ruined. I said, oh. Well, you better check what he's chewing. Because I had the feeling he's in the middle of a bubblegum orgy. Well, they're coming at me and I'm backing away. And then I hear this policeman say, you're positive that he's the right man? I quick dropped the candy bar from my hand. He says, show me. I said, show you what? He goes, the candy bar, you degenerate, and he grabs me. Both of my hands. Pretty easy to see. Which hand's got the chocolate? Well, I've had some pretty bad times before, but not like the trip from the candy store. I sympathize with the kid all right. Someone nice to you probably ain't right, but I'll grow up. I'll learn the ways. I'll learn so that all of my future days, they will be prosperous. Chocolate covered. As long as I don't bite off. More than I can hide. Man, where did that come from? I haven't done that one in a long time. I think I might not do it for another long time. Sure. But I do have children. I have two of them now, two boys. One is going to be one in a week, less than a week. Next Monday, he'll be 1 year old. He's got teeth. I can show you the scars to prove it. And the other one, he's a bit older. And the other one is quite the musician, as Lee Murdoch found out last night. We were over playing, and he was playing, I was playing the mandolin, and Eric was strumming like a mad fiend on his 4-string baritone ukulele. And the funny thing is that he doesn't have any concept of chords or anything. He just is very rhythmic, very primal. And, you know, we're trying to play, and he's just pounding away on the open strings of an out-of-tune baritone ukulele. He really gave it that kind of basic sort of sound. But he's into it. He likes music. Anyway, I think one of the reasons he likes music, obviously, is because I play it around the house a lot, and he's used to it. Anyway, this is a song I wrote for him. Uh-oh, I see a bass fiddle showing up here. The rest of the band is here. Come on. He's real confused now. No! Come on, hurry up! Oh, he's walking back to his car. Okay, that's true. It's full of drug fees. There he is. Geez, about time you got here. God dang. Anyway, so when he was a little baby, he was really a colicky little kid and used to scream and cry a lot, and I'd try everything to keep him quiet, and nothing worked. And I finally found, about time you got here. My gosh. I'm surprised you came in the door after that. So one day I was working on a little song that I was writing, a little ragtime instrumental, and he was in one of these swings that swing back and forth. You crank it up and it swings back and forth, and I was kind of playing it and letting this clicking of this mechanical swing be the metronome to the song that I was playing, and before I knew it, I looked over and he was. I thought, I found it, music. had charms to soothe the savage beast. And so I named this song Eric's Lullaby. And it's never put him to sleep since. Eric's Lullaby. If anybody wants to buy a recorded version of that by Lee Murdoch's new album, Wayfaring Stranger. In fact, if they don't want to buy a copy of that, buy Lee Murdoch's album, Wayfaring Stranger. That was a non-paid commercial. I don't see anybody rushing up to buy it. I hope you'll do it in between the sets. I'm sure he'll sell you a copy, have it mailed to you. You'll sign it, take it over to your house and have dinner, buy the album. Rosie grew up in our neighborhood. She had a bad reputation. Everyone knew she liked to kiss and was fond of quick copulation. Rosie, it seems, believed in her dreams and longed for the boy of her fancy. Stories were rumors, spread just like tumors, but that didn't matter to Clancy. Mother said, what would the neighbors all say if they see you with Rosie today? Rosie, oh Rose, please come outside. I happen to know you got nothing to hide. I've heard all the stories, don't know if they're true. Oh Rose, I just like you. Flew on by and a love grew between them, crept upon them without warning. His friends couldn't stand to see what he was doing, so one of them told him one morning, heard all the stories, do you know are they true? This was Clancy's answer. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. To be honest, I've never asked her. Friend walked away, shaking his head, saying he never heard a damn word that I said. Rosie, oh Rose, please come outside. I happen to know you got nothing to hide. I've heard all the stories, don't know if they're true. Oh Rosie, I just love you. He was in love with her, she was in love with him. We all know where that can lead. They didn't have much, they had each other, that's all that anyone needs. One day they were sent this blessed event, and as she held the child he had fathered, she said, all those stories you never asked about, why is it you never bothered? She said, even if all those stories were true, that wouldn't change my feelings for you. Rosie, oh Rose, please come outside. I happen to know you got nothing to hide. I've heard all the stories, don't care if they're true. Oh Rosie, I just love you. Kelly. Oh boy. Here I am. I knew that. Oh, I got another instrument here. Got the old 5-string banjo here. Actually, this is a new 5-string banjo. For some reason, people always call it the old 5-string banjo. Heck, who am I to buck tradition, right? Well, he likes black coffee, fried eggs, and a well-done T-bone steak. He likes a red dress and a pearly white teeth and the flash of a pretty brown lady. He said way back in the 30s, you know, he never had it made. He's an engineer over on the Ohio River, running in the Pittsburgh trade, with the inspection office in Louisville behind a desk for a very short time. Played on a band of 2 different boats, working for the Stratford line. Long ago we smoked reefer, and he made home brew. The reefer come in from New Orleans long before World War II. He's just a fellow worked on the river all his life by a paddle wheel. You say he's old-fashioned, well that ain't no big deal. Well, it's too thick to navigate, it's too thin to plow. Let him roll on, mama, and don't put him down for it now. He just sits and smokes his old cigar, says he don't miss it at all. He still makes a couple of trips in the summer and in the fall. And those passenger planes, buses and trains are taking up all the slack. He's watching all those river towns slowly turn their back. He's just a fellow worked on the river all his life by a paddle wheel. You say he's old-fashioned, well that ain't no big deal. Well, it's too thick to navigate, spin the plow. Let 'em roll on, mama, don't put 'em down for it now. Way of life, had to fight just to learn how. He may even voted for Nixon once, but I'm sure he sees that now. Friday nights, he makes the best damn gumbo you ever want to eat. Saturday morning, boy, everybody's up and gone off down to the fleet. He's just a fellow worked down the river, all his life by paddle wheel. You say he's old-fashioned, well, that ain't no big deal. It's too thick to navigate, it's too thin to plow. Let 'em roll on, mama, don't put 'em down for it now. Now you're as pretty as he is ugly, and he's the luckiest man alive. Which got him into believing that old men are back in style. Well, see these oysters, Bentonville, and these baked potato skin. I eat them so I can grow up to be an old man just like him. He's just a fellow worked on the river, all his life by paddle wheel. You say he's old-fashioned, well, that ain't no big deal. Well, it's too thick to navigate, it's too thin to plow. Let 'em roll on, mama, don't put 'em down for it now. One more. Ooh. Pressure's on. Pressure's on. Okay, I'd like to play my 19-minute version of "And Got It to Be Now."
Michaelangelos, all the time. Every Wednesday, 9. First Wednesday,
Yeah.
9.
Advertising number 16, Michaelangelos, Bedor Pizza. Yeah. Wait, you gotta back out.
Oh, wait.
Melissa's head is in the way.
This way. Yeah, I know. So Bedor Pizza.
Oh, hi, Derek. Wow, is that some of that new Michaelangelos pizza I've been hearing so much about? Here, why don't you try some? Good. Just wanted to bring it home to my whole family so we can all enjoy it every night. Gee, I'm glad you like it, Mark. I sure do. 3 days later. Derek, I brought it home to my family. We all loved it. We're much closer now. Secret. I eat Michaelangelos pizza. Good stuff. Secret, look this way. Oh, I had junior high. Secret, Alex. Just saying your name into the camera.
Oh, okay.
Mike Krasinski, Jen. That's Jen. There's Scott and some beer.
Beer, man. Beer goes down great with the performers. I endorse beer.
Advertisement number 17, Draft Michelob, the Bedor beer.
George Washington.
Really? He's all out of focus. Zoom in on so.
Trying to get Laurel and Scott way over
You know,
there.
Michaelangelos, nice to enjoy.
What?
Ignore that. Did you get it, Chris?
No, it's out of focus.
Okay, wait, was that autofocus? Hold
The
on.
thing has no autofocus. Wait. Here we go. Okay, ready.
Ready? Garrett, ready?
Okay.
Go along with the other video.
Is everything okay?
Well, this was less painful than I thought. The setup was easy. Well, hey! I've been doing open mics for 9 years.
We are just a bunch of people who get together and play. Sometimes it's folk music, sometimes it's not, but we play it. The folks like it. It's folk music as far as we're concerned. Yeah, we have all different kind of levels of proficiency here, instrumentally speaking and vocally speaking. And the class is open. We will be doing it again this fall. It's open to all levels of performance. Even if you don't play or sing or anything, we'll find something for you to do. Okay, the next song is Tom Dooley. Good old favorite. And if you know any of the tunes we're doing, please feel free to sing along. Always feel free to clap along.
So a little instrumental number tonight.
one of the newest ones I've learned. It's a 19th century dance tune from Western New York called The Bank of Flowers. By the way, do you know what the difference between boogers and cauliflower is?
Oh, what's the difference?
Kids will eat boogers. Oops, let me start it again. I know there are a lot of singers out there, and this song has a wonderful chorus to it, so when it sort of gets familiar the second time around, please feel free to jump right in. You know what you get when you cross a pit bull and lassie?
What do you get?
You get a dog that bites a chunk out of your leg and then runs for help. This is called Little Green Buttons. You know, you've heard the saying, cooking don't last. I mean, kissing don't last, but cooking do. Well, this lady in the song had a real interesting solution for that problem. The honeymoon ended a decade ago. Now he still loves her, but he don't say so. She's taken her boots to the house of tattoos to get little green buttons on her birthday suit. Here's the chorus. Little green buttons all in a row, from her face to the place they ain't ever gonna show. Might sound crazy, sure look cute. She put little green buttons on her birthday suit. She had supper in the oven when he came home. Now he's snoring on the sofa to the late, late show. It was 10 days later before he knew about those little green buttons on her birthday suit. Little green buttons all in a row, from her face to the place they ain't ever gonna show. Might sound crazy, sure look cute. She put little green buttons on her birthday suit. But now she's living in a house of love. She's got his attention, he can't get enough. He spends every evening trying to undo those little green buttons on her birthday suit. Little green buttons all in a row, from her face to her legs, they ain't ever gonna show. Might sound crazy, sure looks cute. She put little green buttons on her birthday suit. Those little green buttons on her birthday suit. Thank you. For the quick commercial, this is the new t-shirt design for the Gebhard Woods Dulcimer Festival, to be held July 8th and 9th at Gebhard Woods State Park in Morris. I think I'll play a tune. This is called Ragtime Annie, and it's popular pretty much throughout the country, except that in the eastern parts it's played with 3 parts, and around here it's usually played with 2, but I'm working on changing that. And they sound a little bit similar. So I medleyed them together, and they work so well that that's how I perform them now. And if you remember your geography, the first tune is from Israel. It's a traditional Israeli tune called Manavu, and it's on the Mediterranean, kind of over here. And then the second tune is St. Basil's Hymn, which you may have heard because Malcolm Dalglish has recorded it, and it's been played around a lot. Also, Winston Churchill has recorded that tune on his December album. So New Agers probably would be familiar with that. But that's a tune which is sung at New Year's time by the children in Greece. And they go from house to house getting little goodies, sort of like a Halloween in January. But anyway, I don't sing is Hebrew or Greek, so I'll play them instrumentally.
He got